there are lots, and I just tell you, there are lots of good Simpson characters. Funny, great Simpson characters. And again, there are so many Simpson characters that I can just list that I just loved, like absolutely loved. But that that would actually make this list 10 times more long if I did like every single favorite character. So in this video, I'm going to make it simple. Go by 25. Yeah, I have picked 25 favorite Simpson characters. Again, there are more characters that I love, but again, the video would be 10 times as long, and I'm not really planning on it to make it even as longer as it is, right? But yeah, 25. And if you want to see what the other favorite characters are, just let me know if y'all want to see a follow-up of my other favorite characters. Do another list of my other favorite characters. You know, number list of my other favorite characters. Again, it just has to let you know. And I will do not liked characters too. My not like favorite, my least favorite characters list as well. But without further ado, let's get through the list, shall we? Starting at the top, number 25 is Mo. Now, again, there's no specific order of why they are on the list, but again, these are all my personal favorites, so just to let you know, all of these characters on the list are my favorite characters, just in orders that I just put them in. But Mo Sizlak, also the owner of Mo's Tavern. He is he's a humorous character, right? He's definitely a humorous character. Like, you could just, again, there's just so many memorable moments from Mo that you would just love. And, I mean, yeah, even some dark parts, too, of him. Like, him just multiple times trying to give up on life. But, hey, life ain't fair. Mo does have to know that life ain't fair, and there are going to be hard times. So, but again, there are just classic moments that I can just keep putting to the top of my head that are from this character itself, especially from the prank calls, right? His threats with Bart's prank calls that sometimes he still does to this day, but not as much as he used to do in the classic era. But yeah, Mo Sizlak comes up on the top. Number 24, Barney Gumble. Yep, Barney is also a very funny character, and he's of course one of Homer's buddies, right? One of Homer's friends, along with Lenny and Carl, that Homer grew up with. And of course Mo as well. And yeah, even though people do mention that Homer did ruin Barney's life by, in that one episode when we see Mo actually drink beer for the first time, and it pretty much destroyed him. Right, now he's an all-time alcoholic, and always at Mo's. But yeah, I mean, there are times that Mo does, or that, well, I guess Mo too, but Barney does care for his friend, right? There are moments that he does care for his friend, like in the early seasons. Homer's night out from the early seasons. We see, of course, when Marge was so furious at Homer for dancing with that stripper that Bart took that picture of, and he was kicked out of the house. And Barney was so kind enough to let him sleep in Barney's apartment, right? Like, that just shows how definitely of a true friend that Barney is. And again, he's just a real solid, good character. And how could nobody definitely not like Barney? He's just funny, right? He's just a great humorous character. Number 23 is, now I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Now, of course, a lot of y'all are probably going to wonder, what is those two guys from that season 9 episode. You know, those carnival people. You know, that dad and that son that tricked the Simpsons, right? In that season 9 episode. You know, those con people. Like, again, they were clever too. They were clever. Again, yeah, even though they were one-off characters. They were one-off characters. Because I don't recall any other episodes that they actually appeared in. Well, at least have a main focus. But again, they were very clever and very funny at times too. And Homer's plan at the end as well to actually trick them of actually the Simpsons getting their house back was really satisfying. And yeah, again, even though they were just one-off like characters, still really funny characters at the best. Number 22, Milhouse Van Houten. Yep, Milhouse Van Houten. Bart's best friend. I just love Milhouse. I mean, there are people that do love Milhouse. Probably people that don't like Milhouse, you know, with his constant crush on Lisa and, you know, him always being up with Bart on these pranks. Like, Milhouse is definitely a good friend when it comes to Bart. And, yeah, again, he's definitely a humorous character. Right, he's definitely a humorous character. And he definitely deserved to be on this list, right? Because, again, there may be people that don't like Milhouse. There may be people that do like Milhouse. But, for me, Milhouse definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 21. And that is Lenny. Yes, Lenny. I just love Lenny. He's very funny. He definitely does not fail to crack me up at times, right? He definitely does not fail to crack me up at times. And, I don't know, there's just definitely times that he just makes some most of his lines just in certain episodes that he's in, it's just so humorous. And yeah, he's definitely a good friend with Homer, right? He's definitely a good friend of Homer, I can definitely say. And he's, again, definitely humorous. And again, who wouldn't like Lenny, right? Who wouldn't like Lenny? He's humorous, and yeah, you would just have to like a guy like Lenny. Number 20, Principal Seymour Skinner. Yep, Principal Seymour Skinner. He's definitely on this list as well. And he's definitely up there for a good reason. And because of his past, right? It's always so interesting to hear and see the past of Principal Skinner. Like, him in the war, right? Of him during some of the wars. Like, knowing that he was part of some wars. Like, and again, some of his lines as well. And he has some very funny moments too. And him constantly getting pranked by Bart as well. And especially since he's able to, just thinking that he can manage a whole school and living with his mother still. But yeah, see, definitely does not treat her well, or treat him well, of course, but you know, that's what parents normally do. They don't normally treat their kids very well, but in the inside they do love them. They just don't show it normally. You know, that's parenting for you. Alright, that is parenting, so it's understandable. It is understandable. But again, he's definitely one of my other favorite characters. Number 19. And that is Willie Smithers. Yeah, Mr. Smithers, you know. You gotta love this character. He's definitely a real good character. Right? He's definitely a real good character. Like, yeah, I know you would probably say, and of course, obviously knowing that he's gay, but still, I have no problem with that. Again, I've discussed in the past, and I don't know what video, but I made an apology document saying of how, I think it was in my worst videos, I made a or I talked about it. I wouldn't say document, documentary, but talked about how in reality I don't have a problem with people being gay. Like, that's fine. But the truth is, of course, of why I never appreciated or could stand gay people is because it's just sad. Or I was just in those times. In those times, I was just sad that even those types of people can find love, right? But now I'm fine, right? I'm fine. I'm not even worried about it anymore. I'm starting to need to step up and man up. But again, that was the whole main reasons. Again, I have no problem with gay people anymore. Like, you know, you can be in a relationship of whatever type, right? You're special no matter what, and people have to respect that. You gotta treat them like they're special. Treat them like they are, no matter what type they are. But again, Smithers does have some real funny moments, no matter what, and I can just name several good lines and episodes that he was great in. Number 18, and that is Itchy and Scratchy. Can I just say it? Itchy and Scratchy, I had to put in. And again, this just goes for Itchy and Scratchy in total. They're funny characters, especially since you know they are a direct parody of Tom and Jerry. You know it, right? You know. All Simpson fans know that Itchy and Scratchy are a parody of Tom and Jerry, right? Because again, Tom and Jerry torment each other. Or Jerry just torments Tom, right? And we see the exact same thing. Or, I guess you could say more grueling as well, compared to Tom and Jerry, right? But still, I just love that it's a direct parody of Tom and Jerry. Number 17, Krusty. Yup. Krusty the Clown. Like, who wouldn't make a top list without favorite characters list without putting Krusty in? He's a very humorous character, and his past too. His past and him losing his father, which is actually a Christian, right? And how he comes in a Christian family, like, and how he has a daughter that he knew nothing about, right? Like, that's just still crazy. Like, again, you just have to love this character. He's just bursting with just laughter of his sayings, right? You just gotta love this character. People may hate Krusty, people might like Krusty, but he's definitely a character I do come to appreciate at times. Yeah, I mean, he's not perfect, obviously. No, not even cartoon characters are perfect. No human in real life and no cartoon characters in cartoons are perfect. Krusty, we have seen in the series, make some bad choices, obviously. So, again, he's not perfect, but he's definitely very humorous. Number 16, Sideshow Bob. If you know me, I love the Sideshow Bob episodes. I love the Sideshow Bob saga. I guess I would call it. You know, the episodes that feature Sideshow Bob as, of course, main in the plot, right? That is main in the plot, like his obsession of trying to kill Bart, get his revenge, so-called revenge on Bart, of framing him, and again, he's just a real great antagonist, right? He's just a real great antagonist, and again, you just gotta appreciate this character, and like I said, Sideshow Bob, definitely a real great antagonist, and definitely has real good schemes as well that he tried, but of course foiled, but really great ones too. Number 15, God, or Jesus, yes. God, on the Simpsons parody of Jesus Christ, and he's very funny too. I just love the Simpsons creation of God. Like, he's just very humorous, right? He's just very humorous at times. Whenever we see him, he's just, most of the times, he just definitely puts a smile on my face of how great he is, right? I mean, it's God, right? It's Jesus, right? Like, for real. You just gotta love this guy. And he's definitely up on the list. Number 14, Sideshow Mel. Yep, he's definitely as well with Sideshow Bob. Sideshow Mel is also on the list. And Sideshow Mel is definitely another real great character. I love Sideshow Mel. He's definitely humorous. And definitely surprising how he still managed to be with Krusty, right? Unlike Sideshow Bob. How Sideshow Mel is still managed to keep up with Krusty's antics, right? And I love his tone too, or his voice, his accent, I guess you can call it, and of course the bone that he has. Like, he's just a real funny, good character. Number 13, and that is Frank Grimes. Yep, Frank Grimes, another, I guess, one-off character. There are other characters, or he does appear in other episodes, but again, just as a cameo or something. But I'm referring to the episode Homer's Enemy. You know, the Homer's Enemy episode from season 8. He is hilarious, especially knowing that, you know, of how his reactions with Homer, of how stupid Homer is, right? He's just all just ridiculous of how ridiculously hilarious, of course. If you've seen that episode, you would just have to come to love this character. But it is kind of tragic as well at the end of the episode that he just dies, like literally dies, right? Him trying to, he is trying to humiliate Homer, right? We know with his freak out. With his freak out, he is trying to humiliate Homer, trying to make him feel bad. But of course, Homer is stupid. So, obviously, Homer doesn't really have any reaction to it. But yeah, Frank Grimes that just gets zapped and just kills himself, like, yeah, that's on him. That's on him by not following the instructions of what killed him. And of course, it was really cool to see his dad, right, in a future episode. That he was trying to, Frank Grimes' dad was trying to kill Homer. Like, that was actually quite interesting to actually see. But yeah, he's definitely a real funny character, and it is kind of sad that he did just immediately die after his first appearance. But it was cool to see he did make cameos as like Ghost or something, and Ghost in other episodes. Number 12, Apu. The owner of the Quickie Mart. I love Apu. There are times that he just he's another character, or another character that you just gotta come to love watching The Simpsons. Like, yeah, just running a store for so long. That's for any people can relate to, right? People can probably relate to Apu of being like, how could somebody run a business for so long like that? Like, for real. And Apu manages to do the exact same thing. And he can, of course, with his 8 kids. And, of course, his wife, which, ain't in a really good, perfect relationship. But still, marriage relationship. But still, he does, I know in the heart, he does love his family. Right? He does love it. He does care for his kids and his wife, right? Even though there are times that he also did. Like I said before with Krusty, all the characters in The Simpsons are not perfect, right? Of course, they're not perfect. We see them make mistakes, right? We see them make mistakes. Do huge screw-ups, like, for real. And Apu is, of course, no exception as well. Number 11, Mrs. Carbopple, or Edna. I really miss this character. In the later seasons, I really come to miss Mrs. Krabappel. As, of course, being in Bart's class. Like, not seeing her in Bart's class and most of the episodes that has the elementary school and him in the class really just does not feel right, right? I mean, I get it, right? Her voice actor. Her voice actor passed away, and of course that meant that, of course, they had to kill off Mrs. Krabappel, right? They had to kill her off screen. But, again, she was a real satisfying, humorous character as well. Like, the girl that voiced Mrs. Krabappel, I just know that she probably had a great time voicing this character. And again, who wouldn't love Mrs. Krabappel? She's definitely a real fascinating character, I can just say. And definitely a well-missed character, that I can say. But, hey, what can you do, though? She's definite, but, again, we will definitely all love Mrs. Krabappel, and if you want to still just see Mrs. Krabappel, definitely go back, or you could definitely watch the older episodes before her death, or before the voice actor that played her died, and of course where they had to kill her off. But, I mean, yeah, they do still show her, but of course, just as a ghost, right? Not as a ghost, not like a full-fledged person, of course, because, well, she's a dead character now, like Maude. Number 10, and that is the main antagonist of the Simpsons movie. Yeah, if you know me as well, I loved the Simpsons movie. It was definitely a real great movie. Definitely a real great animated movie. Really great. And I'm just so surprised that there hasn't been a sequel to this movie. Like, this movie came out in 2007? No, I don't think 2007. I may be wrong. Let me look. Again, I feel like I'm thinking it wrong, but 2007. No, I was right. 2007. July 27th, 2007. Right. That was the year and date that the movie first came out. Man, 2007. Oh boy, I definitely remember the early of 2010. Right, the earliest of the 2010 to, 2015, like, said years. Those were definitely some fascinating times, like, for real. Really great times, too, I can just say. And, again, his character is just so funny and just so humorous. Like, he made a great antagonist, right? He made a great antagonist, I can just say. And, believe it or not, but he is the guy who played him actually played Nemo's dad in Finding Nemo. Yep. Of course, obviously, he would play lots of other characters, too, in different series, franchises, but one of them was Nemo's dad. I cannot always remember his name. I've seen Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, but I can always not remember his name. But you know who I'm talking about. But it was really great to actually see Nemo's dad actually... It's like Nemo's dad, after Finding Nemo, he actually went to the Simpsons, or Springfield, to find the Simpsons, right, and to hunt them down. But, again, he was a very great character. And, really, there's only been one time that we actually properly saw him. I mean, I'm pretty sure we have seen him in backgrounds, right, in the backgrounds of episodes, but not as a proper character since the movie. But still, I mean, it comes to show that obviously he did not die by that boulder that Maggie dropped on him, which it seems like it would have killed him, but it didn't. Number 9, Ned Flanders. Yes. Oakley dokley. Ned Flanders is a real great, humorous neighbor to Ned. And again, remember the Family Odd Parents? Here's an example I can just give. Remember the Family Odd Parents, Mr. Turner and Mr. Dinkelberg. Remember the whole rivalry with Turner, Timmy Turner's dad always not liking Ned. I mean, not liking Mr. Dinkelberg. Well, compare that to The Simpsons. Homer not liking Ned. I mean, of course, Homer doesn't always say that Ned is evil, but again, Mr. Mr. Turner and Homer have something in common. Both hating their neighbors, thinking that they're perfect. And again, that shows with Ned as well. Like, we've seen Ned go through some rough times, like his childhood, right? His childhood, and especially him losing his two wives, right? His two wives. One from a t-shirt accident with Maud getting killed, and then Mrs. Krabappel, right? Losing Krabappel as well. And him having to be a single father after losing his two wives, of taking care of his two kids, Rod and Todd. But he is a real great Christian character. And yeah, you just definitely gotta love him. And he has some wonderful, heartwarming scenes as well that, again, just gotta make you love this character. And especially since most of the time he just keeps cool, right? He just keeps his cool for most of the time. Like, he's all calm. You don't normally, on rare occasions, you ever see him mad or get, break. But that just shows how great Ned is. Number 8. Homer's mom. Or Mona. Yes, Homer's mom. I really miss this character. Homer's mom was a real great character to Homer. She was definitely a real great character. And when we saw that episode where Homer's mom did die in her sleep, was one of the most heartbreaking experience that we would have seen for Homer. Seeing his mom die in front of her, or die in front of him. His mother, that he have not got to see most of his childhood, because again, with his mom's past of escaping, running away, trying to hide, right, from being caught, of the things he's done. Like, it just hurts to actually see, right? And again, she was really the most responsible of Homer's parents, more than Abe Simpson, because Grandpa Simpson definitely, which we'll get to him, trust me, later in this list, or I'm pretty sure next, actually, but yeah. Again, we'll describe more about him later on, but Homer's mom was definitely the more likable, I guess you could say, of when Homer was little. Because he actually took real great care of Homer, more than Homer's own dad, if you would say. And I just hate to just see this character go. I mean, I guess I can kind of understand, kind of like with Mrs. Krabappel, but still, it is very sad to just see this character go. Number 7, Abe Simpson. Yep, I told you, Abe Simpson at number 7. And again, there are times where he is horrible, like, throwing Homer's mom's recipes off of a cliff with Homer not knowing, and lying to Homer and doing all these utter horrible things. I mean, yeah, like I said, Abe Simpson was not perfect, right? I mean, he was in the war. He's been in several wars in his life. He's been in several wars. He's been in wars with Mr. Burns, for Pete's sake. And him having a second wife as well, and, having to take care of Homer when Homer's mom abandoned them, right? Left them. Like, again, being a single father, obviously, what comes to Ned, right? Ned knows exactly about that. But yeah, there are times where Abe Simpson, Grandpa Simpson, however you want to pronounce it, either way, there's times where he's a very awful character too. He's a real good character at times. Like, yeah, he does some horrible things in his past, especially with Homer when he was little, but there's times where he actually is really great, especially with Homer, with with his son. And again, that's why it's in between. Like, there's a like cutting aside, cutting the middle of something, putting the bad sides of what he did and the good sides of what he did. So, yeah, I do put him in this list because there are times where he is a great character, I can just say. And again, just like with Principal Skinner, I do love hearing Grandpa Simpson's past, his stories of the war and stuff. I do love hearing his backstories. Kind of like how I love Mr. Krabs' backstories of his Navy days. Right? I do love hearing his stories. They're always very interesting and great to listen to. But yeah, I do put him on this list just because I feel like, yeah, even though he obviously is not a perfect father to Homer, he still is caring inside, of course. And again, we just gotta appreciate that. And yeah, we all know, especially when it comes to fathers, all fathers aren't perfect to their sons or daughters, right? To dads, especially, right? Referring to dads. They're not perfect, of course. There would be times where they definitely mess up when it comes to around their kids. But yeah, he still does deserve a place in this. Number 6, Montgomery Burns. Yep. Mr. Burns, Montgomery Burns, the 104-year-old man. Yes, he is pure evil, and yes, there are some horrible things that he's done, but there's also some humorous things that he does as well. Like, Mr. Burns is just a very funny character, right? Especially to him not remembering Homer's name, right? Him always having to tell Smithers of who, or telling Smithers of who is that guy when referring to Homer. And he's like, "That's Homer Simpson, sir." And then the one of your workers from Sector 7G. Right? Like, again, that's another one-off gag that we still do get to this, a little bit to this day. Again, probably not as much as the earlier seasons, obviously, but still, he is definitely a real great character. And there are times that he does have some real great moments and satisfying moments, and then times where, yeah, he's just horrible. But, again, just like with Abe Simpson, he does deserve a spot. Number 5. Marge Simpson, or Marge Bouvier. Yes, she is definitely up there of my favorites. And yeah, she is a good wife and mom. She is a real great wife to Homer and a good mom to her kids. And we've seen her do some really great and bad stuff, especially when it comes to Homer and the kids. But again, she's not a perfect mom, right? She's not perfect. She's not a perfect mother. But there are times that she just cracks me up, especially when it comes to their snuggle moments, right? Which I'm not sure if people actually do actually make their favorite snuggle like moments from The Simpsons that were funny. Number 4, Lisa Simpson. Lisa's definitely a real interesting character in the Simpsons family. That I can just say. A very interesting character. And not only because she's a Buddhist, but also because of how she's a vegetarian, but of how her love with jazz as well. Again, there's just so many things that you can love with Lisa. And again, she's only 8 years old, right? She's only 8 years old. She is the middle child. Yeah, she is the middle child of course, the family. Because again, you had Bart, then you had Lisa, and then Maggie. when it comes to the kids. So she is, of course, the middle child and the first daughter of the family. But again, she has some very great moments and some really not so great moments. But yeah, you just gotta appreciate her. Of all of her satisfying parts, too. And we do see that she does care about her family and for Bart, even though Bart does pick on her. Which, of course, that's what siblings do, right? That's what siblings do. They pick on each other. They make fun of each other. They do stuff to each other like that. So, that's normal. Number 3. Yep, we are reaching the final 3 in this list. With number 3 is Bart Simpson. Yep, you had to know that Bart Simpson was on this list. And I just love Bart Simpson. He is really great. And his pranks, right? Like, I could make a list of some of my favorite pranks that he done, right? Some of his most either dangerous, horrible, or funny pranks that he's ever done. But again, he's just a real satisfying character. And again, no matter how many times Marge and Homer try to fix Bart at these rehabs or something, Bart is never going to be fixed. They're going to have to admit, after every time in the series that we've seen them try to get Bart, trying to get him cured, there's no way he's going to get fixed. Like, no way. But again, that's what's special about Bart. Him being a prankster. Him pranking and fooling people. That's what makes him special, right? Yeah, there can be times where he's very cruel about the pranks that he does, but again, we know he's got a caring side as well towards his family and the people surrounding him, and especially and all the girls that he's dated before, which again, he's only 10, right? You got to admit, or you got to think about it. He's only 10. Again, Lisa's 8 and he's only 10. They're still way too young to even have or be dating to begin with, right? So that's something too. Number 2, I mean, could anybody... Obviously, y'all would have known Homer Simpson would have been on the list, right? Homer Simpson. He is definitely on the list because there are just satisfying, hilarious moments that he's done. Like, really weird, but really funny moments that he has in the series that you just gotta love. And, again, he's a very caring husband, right? Like we've seen in past episodes, like that fangirl when he was an opera singer that tried to hit on Homer. He was actually being a really good husband to his wife. And when it came to Mindy, even though of how hot Mindy was that he found her, he still stuck with Marge. Like, we've seen him constantly have moments where he cares about his family. He cares about his wife. Yeah, people are probably going to think, like, yeah, he's stupid and stuff. Yeah, he does have stupid moments. But he cares about his family. He cares about his wife. Right? He cares about his wife. He cares about his kids and his family. And we've seen it. Right? We've seen him have real great moments where he does care about his family. Even if different girls that try to get on Homer, that try to drive him away from Marge, he still manages to do... I mean, yeah, he still does bad things too, but he just shows that how of a good father he is. And again, that's why you just gotta love Homer as well. And again, his past, right? Him growing up with his mom and dad that constantly arguing, and how his mom abandoned him when he was younger. Like, and all these years thought she was dead before she finally got to meet him, just to realize that she left again and came back, left again, until eventually she died in front of him. Right? Like, you just have to feel sorry for the guy. But, again, just have to love this guy as well. And then the number 1 pick. My favorite Simpsons character of all time is Maggie. Maggie Simpson. Yup. Maggie Simpson is my all-time favorite Simpsons character. I just love this character. I just love this baby. This baby. I just love. She's just... There are very hilarious moments that... And very serious, cracking up moments that Maggie has. Like, she is a smart, clever, hilarious baby. Right? She is just something else. And again, I just have to put Maggie at number 1 of my all-time favorite Simpsons character. Because, again, every time there's Maggie on screen or she's having these great moments, I just enjoy it so much. Because of how much she's so memorable. I just love Maggie. Yes, there's lots of other memorable characters, but really none of them stick out as of Maggie. And again, she's just such a adorable, sweet, wonderful baby, and I just love her character so much. And again, that will conclude this video. Hit the like button, subscribe for any channel, which for notifications to don't miss anything new. And again, this was only my my top 25 favorite characters. And again, I do have more favorite characters, but it just depends if y'all want to see another video of my other favorite characters. Because again, I got other favorite characters. If y'all want to see another video dedicated to the other characters that I love, let me know. And again, I will, if y'all want to see it, of course. And obviously, I will be making a list of my least favorite, worst, if you can call it, characters of the series. The characters I don't like on the series. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think. Catch you on the next one.